guys, welcome back to the 18th episode of Two Friendless Friends. Wow, it's the 18th episode.
Yeah, 18 episodes, which is really fun and a big achievement for us actually, because we just really started off with 0, obviously, and now we're on 18. Almost getting to 20 soon. So from the title of this episode, you'll see that we'll be discussing, are humans inherently good or evil, which is such an interesting topic that we'll go into. And we'll also be talking about the new COVID case, and I think that came out yesterday, is that correct?
Yeah, it was yesterday, and that person, like, I'm not angry at that person because, like, they did the right thing, they got tested, but it's, like, it's scary because he's not linked to anything. At least I haven't checked today's update, but like yesterday they were like, oh, he doesn't have contacts with like any hotel quarantine or hotel quarantine staff or something. So they have no idea.
Wait, I thought he went to the
he went to a lot of places
somewhere,
but they don't know where he got it.
Oh, I thought it was the optometrist.
I'm not sure. I haven't checked today's update. I think there was an update today. I'm not sure if they have like the details yet anyway.
We'll get the article up before we actually share this bit of information because we don't want to say the wrong thing.
Yeah, no misinformation here. I'll try and find the article. And before we get started, as usual, what's our life update, Flora?
Okay, life update. Well, I think this week has just been really rough. Firstly, starting off with the exam that we had on Monday, because we both do the same course, and I don't think it went too bad.
That was a rough one. I didn't attempt the short answer. I think, like, we talked about this. I did not attempt the short answer at all. Because there was only one out of, like, 55 marks. It was only worth 10 marks. So I was like, I do not know the content for that question.
I mean, that's actually why I don't think it went too bad, because I went into the exam preparing myself to not do that 10 mark. But if I went into it thinking, okay, let me try and attempt everything, and then I came out of the exam not even attempting a 10 marker, then I would have felt really scared about it. And that's probably why.
And I think it was a lot easier for us because it was more multiple choice, and I think I just prepared myself mentally to like do certain types of questions with calculations. So that was a lot easier than me trying to do short answer questions, which are like not as guided in a sense, because like short answer would have like lengthier calculations with multiple steps than like something that's like multiple choice or like just a numerical answer.
Yeah. And I don't think it was, the way that I view it now, I don't think it's got anything to do with the exam itself, but just the way that I prepared for it, as in like the mentality I went into doing it, because I went into it thinking, no, I'm not going to do short answer. That means my maximum marks are 45
out of 55, and like
it is 45
considering that we already have 45 marks already as well. That's fine. I mean like honestly, after high school, I was like, I'm probably never getting another mark in the 90s in a course.
High school?
Yeah, like, high school was my peak, honestly, with, like, in terms of, like, numerical marks, not really knowledge.
Yeah, but I do think that it's kind of...
Yeah, it's hard to compare the two,
right?
It's just, like, your standards, like, numerical standards have dropped.
Yeah, very different.
Honestly, because, like, it's, like, it doesn't translate directly, like, getting, like, a 90 in high school to, like, a 90 in university.
Yeah. Oh, and also from 2 episodes ago, when we were talking about the moral and ethical issues in retail, I mentioned something about refunding my phone, and update on that, it was successful. I don't know if I would recommend it. Just because of the...
Did you get the same phone again? Like, exact same color?
Yeah, so I went to one store to refund. All they did was just...
And then you went to the other one too?
Yeah. They didn't even assess the damages. They just kind of looked at, receipt, asked me to type in my password and do this, and then it was done. Went to another store, bought it, and then, rest is history.
Honestly, I feel like refunded goods depends on the store, but like a lot of refunded goods don't actually end up getting resold again.
Yeah, I was talking to a friend. She said that these phones just they don't just get placed back on the shelf. They get sent back to, I think, like the manufacturer and then taken apart again. So I don't know.
It's either taken apart again or they sell it as a refurbished model with like a significantly lower price.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think those are the two options, but I know that like with a lot of places, things like returns won't actually get resold. They will probably usually get liquidated or just landfill. And I think it's like, I heard that this is like Amazon in particular. I watched this random documentary. I don't remember the numbers, but it's like way more goes to landfill than it does to like liquidation.
You know, they probably don't even have time to look through it all, which
yeah, they
kind of
don't even
sucks
check it. So like a lot of the items are like perfectly fine, or like minor scratches, and they will literally straight up go to landfill.
Yeah, and then there's people who hate on individuals for not using reusable straws when it's these big companies who don't even take extra time to reduce their waste.
Yeah, a lot of the time
anyway.
It's like they do say that, but like when you look at the actual percentage that does go through like quality checking and then resold, it's kind of like questionable.
Anyway, so what about you though? Anything that's happened in your life that you want to bring up in the past week?
Well, like as of 5 p.m. yesterday, like when we were recording this, as of 5 p.m. yesterday, I am on holidays.
Yay.
Does
it feel good?
It does, definitely. The exam yesterday was actually like very, very easy compared to what I was expecting.
That's good.
Like, I don't know what I was expecting, but like the lecturer already said it was going to be like pretty simple, but it was easier than I expected, and I was like, okay, this was like kind of dumb. And I didn't even need to sit the exam to pass the course anyway, because I already passed the course technically.
Oh, so what was waiting for this exam?
30%, because so this is a special course because there was a major project that was worth 50%, and then like labs and participation were 20%. So like final was only 30%.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, that's good. You're out of exams now, and you can just kind of enjoy your 1 month break.
Not really. I have so much stuff to do, like in terms of cleaning my room and like other things.
Cleaning your room. Yeah, but you just still don't have to worry about the academic pressure of it.
Not until
so
like a month later.
Yeah. Anyway, so we're going to now jump into the question. And I mentioned this, I think, last episode. I don't know if you remember the question that I was going to ask, but you said that you were kind of interested in talking about it. So the question is, do you think that humans are inherently good or evil?
Oh, yeah. I remember discussing this in Extension English in Year 12. Well, like before I dropped it. But we were studying Frankenstein. Have you read Frankenstein before?
No.
It's not that interesting of a read. At least to me. I found like quite a bit of it like hard to understand because it wasn't really in chronological order. It was like really weird order, and I didn't really get like how the story actually like flowed in terms of like the actual chronological order. But basically it talks about the moral story of like, are humans inherently good, and like is it society's fault that bad people exist? Like, is it because of society that bad people exist?
Okay, so also I want to add in a random thing. A lot of these classic novels are kind of just really boring, but they're just really, really smart in terms of
the meaning,
the techniques
like
they use.
it's like, yeah, it's very technical. So like for casual readers like us, it is very, very boring. But when you look more into like the background and everything, it's so interesting. I actually find like the discussion part of it is so much more interesting than the actual reading. It's like you read 1984, right?
No, I never studied it.
Oh, 1984, at least to me, it took me ages to finish reading it. What about Handmaid's Tale? Handmaid's Tale was so boring.
You know what I think was most boring though? I don't think you would have done this, but Charles Dickens, Great Expectations.
Oh, my friends were doing it and they were like complaining about how boring. It was like, isn't it like a super thick book?
Yep. I don't think I ever finished it. Honestly, I don't think I ever finished English
novels. I don't think
novels.
anyone finished it. If someone did finish it, I would be like, wow, props to you. You're doing great, sweetie.
You're doing great, sweetie. Let's go back to talking about the question, are humans inherently good or evil? So after studying Frankenstein, what would you say your views are on this?
I genuinely believe that people are inherently good. Because it's not like you're born and you want to kill someone. That would be such a funny thing to like take out as a clip. And but
oh right, yeah.
I don't think it's like you're born, you're not bad. No baby is bad. It's like what the things that are happening around them, the things they witness. It's like everything shapes us to be who we are, and our experiences can make us good or bad people, but two people with the same experiences could come out differently as well.
Yeah, and I think that majority of how we behave is to do with our environment, but there is actually part of it that's to do with our genetics. I think, I forgot what it was. It was like AMRO, I don't think that's it, but there's this gene, and if you have like multiple copies of it, sorry, if you have multiple copies of this gene, then you're more aggressive, and so just by looking at that, I guess some people can be more inherently evil, but again, like, evil is such a... I think it's more
like they're more susceptible to like bad influences. I'm not sure, actually. I don't know the science behind this, but just like, I think in my mindset, I definitely think people are inherently good, and it's society that determines what they become. Because it's like the story of Frankenstein. You know, Frankenstein is the name of the doctor, not the monster.
Yeah. I think I knew that.
It's Dr. Frankenstein.
Yeah.
It's Dr.
And Frankenstein wasn't bad, but, right?
Yeah, it was like, I think it's like the doctor was so scared by his own creation that he ran away. And then, like, because the monster, like, if you read the book, I'm pretty sure at the beginning it was just called the creature. It wasn't called the monster.
Oh.
And like slowly as people became more and more like scared of them, because like his appearance was like physically different from everyone else.
Yeah.
And as people became like, he was like kind of shut out from society, and no one really accepted him, and he was just craving kind of a leader kind of figure, someone that he could follow, someone that he could respect, and someone that he could lean on. But as time went on and he experienced all these like bad experiences, I guess, he became more and more like a monster. And you could read from the book, like, slowly it started referring to him as the monster. And that's when he became the monster.
I think that's kind of really interesting because even though it's a monster and it's it's not real, obviously, but it's a good reflection on how humans behave, right? Like, if you're constantly being shut out from society, you're constantly being left out, I think you're going to end up turning that experience into something.
Do something extreme. You do something extreme. It just depends what extreme you go to, I think. Because at the end of the day, it's I think when something happens to you like that, it's either you get harmed or someone else gets harmed. Nothing good happens.
Yeah. I do agree with you, though, that I do think that humans are inherently good. Actually, okay, if we were given a third option and just said, like, blank slate.
It's like neutral. You have a neutral start and, like, it's like whatever shapes you, shapes you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's like, that's more a bit more like acceptable in like my logic, in terms of like everyone has the potential to be good or bad. Like, I could turn out to be an angel or a devil, you know? Like, it's kind of the things that have happened to me, the things that I've experienced, and what I've taken away from those experiences that determined which path I go down.
So I've got this article up from BBC Earth by Tom Agletti. Sorry if I butchered your name. And it says here that Aristotle, the philosopher, argued that morality is learned and that we are born as amoral creatures, while Sigmund Freud argued that we're just born as a blank slate. Apparently, Freud is just crazy and, okay, I don't know. That's what, like, people say. I don't think I know enough about what he did. But he wasn't even a psychologist, I think. Because he's brought up a lot in psychology, but he's not a psychologist.
I remember talking about this. I'm not sure if it's the same one that I just found, but we had this discussion where two philosophers had different opinions. So, like, Thomas Hobbes, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly, wrote that life in the state of nature, like, that is our natural condition outside the authority of a political state, is solitary, poor, nasty, brutish, and short. But there was another guy, that Rousseau, that said human nature is essentially good and that we could have lived peaceful and happy lives well before the development of anything like the modern state.
Okay, but that's looking at human nature and not inheritance, right? Which is two different things.
It does talk about, like, if you go, like, further back into, like, the theories, it does go back into, like, if you break it down to, like, external factors and stuff, it does talk about that. I don't completely remember the discussion that I had in the class when we discussed Frankenstein, but I'm pretty sure I think most people in my class did agree with the theory that humans are inherently good and it's things around them that make them bad. But I think, like, there's also the factor of we were so shaped by the Frankenstein story that we kind of couldn't see it any other way.
Right. Okay, so if I now change up the question a bit, and instead of asking if humans are inherently good or evil, if I now ask you, are humans currently primarily good or bad? How would you answer that?
I don't think they're bad, but I think that's just selfish. I think society has been, wouldn't define it as like actually being bad, because like no one is, well, like, I'm talking about like the general public. I'm not talking about like criminals and like other things like that. But I don't think anyone is out to get you, in a sense. It's like more like everyone's mostly looking after themselves and making sure they get the best outcome for themselves, because we have become such a competitive society, and it's like if you're not good enough, if you don't try hard enough, if you don't have enough connections, you lose. And therefore, like, it's kind of built this mentality that, like, if someone else gets an opportunity, I lose an opportunity. So therefore, I need to kind of take some actions that might make someone worse off than me, but that is my goal in life. I think we have kind of built our society around that mentality a lot.
So this is a theory that's kind of come up before, and I've heard it before. Do you agree that the morals that we build ourselves on is to do with capitalism? So it's going to go a bit political now.
I do think to some extent, yeah, like because the morals that existed in every era, like, kind of reflected what kind of political structure there was. And with capitalism, it's like you're responsible for what happens to you, kind of like it's competitive.
Yeah. Well, I would also agree too. And I think that a lot of the issues that individuals and a community faces is to do with capitalism. Because the primary goal of capitalism is to earn money, right? It's all just based around earning money. And there's like a hierarchy too.
It's like the more money you have, the
more
higher
powerful
you are, and the more powerful you are. And I think, like, humans inherently just want more power. Maybe not to the extreme of, like, having the most power, but, like, there is a level of power that people want over others.
Yeah, and then somewhere along the line, someone decided that it was white men that would have the most power.
Yeah, somewhere along the line.
I don't know where that came from.
I think there's probably some research into, like, why, like, literally white people went to Africa and were like, oh, we're better than you, you're becoming our slaves, we're taking you back and using you as our slaves. I don't know how it originated, but I just find it weird.
What's the word for that? Not slavery. Oh my God. Like when like people invade your country and then they start imposing their own culture on you.
Isn't that colonization?
Yes. Okay. Thank you. This is controversial, and I don't know. Evangelism, is that what it's called?
No idea. But, like, I just find it weird. It was like, wasn't the case of Australia, like, the settlers came and, like, they didn't see, like, permanent homes by the Indigenous Australians. So they were like, oh, wait, you don't own the land then because you haven't put up anything permanent. And therefore, now that we're the first ones to put up something permanent, it is our land now.
Yeah, so white people.
Because it was like, I think it was like just a difference in the lifestyle, and they just saw the Indigenous Australians as like lesser because of the way they were living, in the eyes of the colonizers, seemed primitive. Which was weird because technically, haven't the Indigenous Australians been the ones that have adapt to the environment more instead of making the environment adapt to them?
Yeah.
It's weird. I don't know where the mentality and the reasoning comes from.
I don't know, but it is interesting. It's wrong, definitely, but it's very interesting how this started. How someone decided that there was a hierarchy in terms of race and gender.
Here's another thing. I have this question for you. What are your thoughts on like how people came into power in history? Because wasn't it like just whoever killed more people was more powerful?
Oh, okay. Actually,
isn't that? I find that weird.
I need to finish up my thing about evangelism because I don't want to just leave it hanging there. So it's basically where you spread the word of God, like Christians spread the word of God to other people. And sometimes they will go to other countries to do that, where those countries might not have much exposure to Christianity.
Oh, didn't that happen with Japan or something? Like,
I'm not actually too sure. Disclaimer, I am not Christian. This is just something that I've heard about before, and it just the conversation we had reminded me of this. But there's reasons that people think it's wrong, and it kind of reflects, what's that word again that I forgot before?
Colonization, yeah.
Where you just kind of you try to like put your own beliefs into other people.
I think like there's some level of like showing others and then like imposing your beliefs on others.
Yeah.
It's a very fine line between the two though.
There was this person once, it was the day before English paper 1 last year. Oh my god, wait.
Not last year.
It's not even last year.
It's the year before. I keep thinking last year was 2019. And I'm like, no, it's not.
That's actually a good way to segue into our actual topic. But let me finish off what I was saying. This person came up to me and started talking about God and started explaining how he used to be a physicist and really believe in science, but then I don't know, something happened, and then like now he's just very Christian.
Wait, have you like seen the people walking around the city and like inviting you guys you to like Bible studies and like
town hall?
Yeah, and doing surveys and stuff, and like it's always so hard to get away from them.
Oh, they're always with the microphones and then like, right?
No, like the ones that I see are like the ones handing out pamphlets and the ones like asking you to do surveys on their phone.
Wait, I don't think I've ever encountered that before. I have seen, it's like right in front of the light rail station town hall.
Yeah, I think they hang around this train station and light rail stations a lot.
Oh, there's also a church there, is there not?
Yeah, I think so. But like, I just find it's slightly a bit too much, because like I think it's the same with like door knockers and stuff. They try to like get you in, but the things that they say go to the extent where it's slightly like imposing their beliefs rather than like just telling you about it.
Yeah, and then you feel really bad about saying no to that stuff.
Yeah,
and so
like, you don't want to be rude, but you also like, while you're being polite, it's kind of inviting them to say more.
Yeah, I know. So that's actually what happened with the guy who came up to me before English paper 1. It was literally like a 10-minute conversation, and I just didn't know how to get out of it. So he was just saying like, oh, if you come to this event, we will pray for you. Just stay 30 more minutes, and then that's when we're starting our event. And I just did not know how to say no. And he was like, okay, fine then. Just leave me your number, and then we'll try and get in contact with you. So I had my friend there, and she, being the smart one, gave a fake number, and so did I. But then I felt really, really bad about lying, so I said, oh wait, sorry, I gave you the wrong number, let me change that for you. And then I gave them my real number, which could be like reverse psychology, because then he thinks, oh wait, that's definitely a fake number, right?
Yeah, but
it's still like
it's weird, because a lot of the times I get out of it by like my friend arriving, and I'm like, oh, my friend said I need to go now. But the other strategy I have is to just like not make eye contact, have my earphones in and like stare at my phone and pretend to not hear them when they come by. Because I don't know, like once the conversation starts, I don't know how to end it politely.
Yeah, I think that's the hardest part, to just tell them you're not interested. And then afterwards, they kept calling me like multiple times. And then like they texted me and called me and like WhatsApped me too.
Whoa.
And then I just, yeah. And then
did you just block their number?
No.
Why?
I don't have anyone's number blocked. You know, I've deleted one person's number before, but I don't really delete people's numbers. I delete
people's numbers because I get hand-me-down phones, and I delete my mum's numbers and put in mine. But that's it.
I have people from like year 7 that probably has changed their number.
I have people that have probably changed their number, but I don't want to delete it. But I won't, if I want to contact that person, I won't use that number in case they've changed it.
Yeah, and we have social media now, so
it's
I guess
weird because like I'm like with friends that I've like people that I've been friends with like for years. I just straight up don't have their number. I only talk to them on social media.
You don't have your friends? Oh, I sometimes ask my friends' numbers if we're meeting up.
I don't have Rowena's phone number. I only have her socials. And she doesn't have my phone number. We only have each other's socials.
Oh, okay.
And like considering that I've known her for 6 years.
Yeah. Wait, that's... Okay. I don't know. I think like... I don't remember just asking my friends for numbers.
How did I even get your number?
I swear it's because we met up somewhere. Because I feel that's really the only...
Oh, it was probably at some point where you didn't want to use data and like you just gave me your number.
Oh, probably. But, and I also think if you're with a friend a lot and you end up, like, I feel like I call friends a lot. No, that just sounds...
Do I? Like, literally, let's go through my recent calls. Let's see my recents. Flora, and then there was my mom, my dad, my mom, Flora, my dad, Flora. Literally, you call me more than my parents do.
Really?
Yes. Like, the only time I actually call my dad is when I get off work, because it's like I work in Carlingford, so like my dad's like, oh, it's dangerous, so like call me before you come out so that like you know that I'm already there to pick you up. But otherwise I don't really call my parents.
Wait, am I like on the just without scrolling down, just on that page?
Yeah, you're the top one.
Oh, so you really don't call people often? Because I have to scroll like 5 pages down to see you. Oh, yeah, here. 27th of April. And today's the 6th of May. That's right?
27th of April is on the second last slot on my recents.
Oh, okay then.
Because I think my mum had been calling me for like a bit more recently than texting.
Wait a second. That wasn't even last...
That was like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. No, that was last week.
Oh, wait, that was last week, yeah.
Wait, what? Okay.
I don't call people much, though. Literally, my history is you, my mom, and my dad.
Oh, not... Okay, then. Anyway, it's now around 30 minutes, so we will start our topic. What's our topic again?
Oh, reflection on the pandemic.
Yeah. So I was thinking about this today, actually, because of the new case that was the news about the new case. And the first thing that I thought of was I just don't want to go through another quarantine. And I remember, because I have this diary and I write in it. And I remember I wrote in this morning, luckily that person didn't really come around my suburb. And then I thought about it. Is it really lucky though? Because that means that those suburbs that he did go around to have now been infected. And I think this is also kind of what you were talking about before. Like, humans are just selfish people. Because when I wrote that, I was only thinking about myself. But I did put a question mark after luckily. Because I'm like, is it lucky?
I'm reading the new restrictions. So, like, just to update, apparently today yesterday's case had a household contact who also is infected now. And the new restrictions as of, what's the date today? 6th of May. According to the Sydney Morning Herald article, household gatherings will be limited to 20 people, including children. Masks will be compulsory on public transport and in public indoor areas. Singing in indoor venues will not be allowed. Dancing and drinking in venues will not be allowed, with a recommendation for wedding dance floors to be restricted to 20 people, and visitors to aged care facilities will be restricted to 2. I don't want to wear, like,
what?
I'm okay with wearing masks again. I'm just not completely happy about it because it is very, very stuffy if you have to wear it for like an extended period of time.
My only concern, I don't care about masks, I'm fine with masks. Just to let the people know, we both do wear masks.
Yeah, we do. Like, I'm not that happy about it. Because, like, I think last time mask mandates were back, I was literally wearing a mask for, like, 7 hours in a row for an entire week. My skin was not happy. Like, this might sound gross to everyone, but my mask was, like, wet at the end of the day. Because of, like,
I think people can relate to that, though.
It's, like, it's a sign that the mask is working because, like, it's trapping in the heat. And, like, but it's just really, really uncomfortable when you wear it for extended periods of time over, like, multiple days in a row, because it's also, like, it's really, I feel like healthcare workers don't get enough recognition, but it's, like, I only had to do it for 5 days in a row for 7 hours a day, and I was dying from wearing that mask. It was so uncomfortable. But healthcare workers are wearing them every single day for hours in a row. Like, that's literally part of their job now.
Yeah, plus on top of that, not just the fact that it's uncomfortable, but they're also at a much higher risk.
Like, have you seen, like, the pictures of, like, people with, like, cuts on their skin from the, like, wearing the mask so much? It's
no,
like,
but I did have a friend tell me that someone she knew who works in a lab has to use hand sanitizer a lot, and then it just got so dry that even when she picked up a piece of paper, it just kind of cut her hand. And
yeah, it's like there are people with jobs that require them to, like, follow these protocols so much stricter than us, and, like, after experiencing that, I was like, big respect. I don't think I could ever do that. Like, I was, like, complaining so much after, like, 5 days.
So the restrictions, you said, household things, gatherings, 20 people max?
Yeah.
Starting from
business,
today?
I don't know when it's starting, but
oh, okay.
They didn't say. I think it's probably immediate start. Oh, no. 5 p.m. today. But workers need to wear a mask for businesses. Oh, my mom's going to have to wear a mask, which is really uncomfortable.
This is very I probably shouldn't mention this, and I'm just gonna say that I know this is not a big concern at all. There are much bigger problems, but it's just the first thing that I thought of when you said this. So I have a party on Saturday, and there's 25 people.
It's probably not
going
ahead. Unless they're breaking COVID restrictions.
Yeah. But the thing is, if she ends up following it, which she should, that means that people are going to be uninvited, right? Or it's just not going to happen. But either way,
it should just be postponed. Like, just logically, it's much safer. It's not like you have to have the party.
Yeah, I know. But my point is that I had like a very big breakdown over that party.
Yes, yesterday.
Yeah, and I'm like, did I really just have that breakdown over nothing? Like, at least like let me go through. Okay, I'm not gonna finish that sentence because it's so. Sometimes I just say things and I forget that people, like, it's out in the public and it's not just like privately said. A lot of things I say I don't really mean, but yeah, it should be postponed or cancelled. But I just like I just stress so much about this because of other stuff. Like, did I really risk the mental health for it just not to happen?
Bro, I was so ready for holiday plans.
Yeah, what? Wait, it just fell at such a bad time. I think that also happened last year too, did it
literally,
not?
Last time, because I was literally planning to go out with friends a lot. And then there was an outbreak literally in my suburb. That was really serious because, like, it was in the Woolies. And that was, like, the only supermarket in the suburb. So, like, and a couple surrounding suburbs. So, like, everyone in this area goes to that Woolies for, like, daily groceries. So, like, that one was really serious. I feel like every time it's landed on, like, a time where we're starting to, like, go out more.
No, I swear, too. It's something to do with the UNSW breaks and like COVID, because last time it's been happening like this. It's a trend now.
Yeah. Like, last night my mum was asking me, like, when will this all be over? Like, when can, like, we just be going back to normal? Because now that that's happened, I don't think we'll be going out to eat for Mother's Day anymore. Like, apparently Mother's Day bookings won't be cancelled for restaurants, but, like, I didn't book anything. Except we're going to, like, look for something to eat. But that's not happening anymore.
Oh,
I was gonna go shopping with you too. And we were going to go on our, like, photo shoot stuff. I guess that's not happening. I guess Hamilton won't be happening either.
I wanted to talk about when COVID first started happening. So
March
last year, and when quarantine,
the first lockdown.
Yeah,
it was like right after Flexi Week of term 1, right? I'm pretty sure it was right after Flexi Week. So, like, we literally had 5 weeks of in-person university. We were first years back then, and then it was like, boom, everything's online now.
So when I heard about this new case, I just really didn't want to go back into quarantine. And I do think that I've adapted much better into this now. But I remember when quarantine was first a thing, when I had to just stay at home. I might have mentioned this before in earlier episodes,
I feel like we have both talked about the early stages before.
I'll just repeat
because that's around when we met as well, wasn't it? Like a couple months in.
I have no idea. I don't remember when we met, actually. I swear
it was sometime in quarantine.
No, it was, but I don't know when. Anyway, I was gonna say about quarantine. I found it really, really hard because I realized that I do this thing where I just kind of leave the house a lot.
Oh, you told me about this before.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, and then, like, kind of study and also, like, get away from...
Yeah, and then, like, I couldn't do that. And what made it much worse was at home at that time last year, it was, like, chaotic. Like, there was literally no personal space at all because there was, like, 7 people in my house. And I don't know, I feel like having your own room, having your own personal space is so underrated. I have my own room now. And I, like, back then I just couldn't do anything, just, like, alone. Because there was always something going on. And I think most of the time, half of the house wasn't even, like being, half of the house was being used because my sister teaches piano. So like we just closed the door, which is like literally located in the middle of the house. So just like 6 of us. Oh, I don't know. This sounds like such a first world problem. Like, oh, the house isn't big enough. I don't think it's that. It's just that I just didn't have any space for myself. And that was really hard. But then now it's a bit better, but I just don't want to go through quarantine again.
I think I was in a much better situation than you because I was very happy. Because it was like, well, like, the first of all, I didn't have to, like, take transport to uni every single day. And, also, it was because at that time, my mum was still working. Well, like, when it started. My brother was still working. My dad was still working, like, not from home. None of them were working from home. So I literally had so much personal space. And at that time, yeah, it was, like, the most chill time because the courses that I was doing weren't as hard as the courses I'm doing now. So it was very chill. I did get really bored.
Oh, yeah, same.
I think in the second week, my mom's workplace shut down because like it was just the whole building. The building she works in fast food. The building she works in, like, kind of like services, provides food for like the workers, and the workers were all work from home. So like it didn't make sense for her place to stay open. So it was also closed. And she was home with me the entire time. I think that made it a bit better because I am close with my mom while still having my room as my personal space. And it was fun to some extent, but like it was still very scary because at the peak of it, I had to get my wisdom teeth removed because it was like starting to get really painful. And like the whole procedure, it's like going into the dentist, it was like a whole procedure. Like I was pretty impressed by like how closely the place I went to followed the restrictions, because like it was like going over the top as well. Like only 2 people in the waiting room at any time, like including household contacts. Like, you know how some places are like it doesn't include it if like you're a contact of this other person that you're with. Like, it's not included in the limit. But they were really strict about it. Like, I don't know, some places are so chill about it. But they were very strict about, like, only 2 people, you have to wear masks. They had, like, hand sanitizer, temperature check, a form to fill in with, like, have you been to any of these hotspots? What's your temperature right now? Are you feeling any symptoms? What's your contact number and everything? And, like, when you go between each patient, it was like, they sanitize, like, they always sanitize everything, but they sanitize everything, like, even more, they were even more strict about, like, the sanitizing process. And it was, like, they were accepting, like, literally, probably, like, I think it was, like, only, like, 30% of the normal number of patients. It was all, like, the emergency ones that had to be done. So, like, people with, like me, my wisdom tooth had to be pulled out, or else it would have, like, rotted in my mouth. And I would have been in, like, a lot of pain. And I really respected that.
To be honest, we honestly probably have the upper hand when it comes to the pandemic. Like, both of us are still able to, like, we still have a home to live in.
Yeah, we still have a home to live in, like,
we're still able to afford things. And Australia, or at least Sydney, isn't, like, as bad as other countries.
If we're looking right now, India's cases are, like, skyrocketing.
Yeah, I don't think they even have enough air ventilators.
Yeah, I think Australia just sent some over. And a lot of other countries are sending resources over, but still closing borders. And I feel like it was reasonable to close for now, because, like, did you notice the hotel quarantine cases jumping? Like, it used to be, like, a couple per day, right? and it was only hotel quarantine cases. But then it went into double digits in hotel quarantine. Like, apparently, like, there were people on the same flight that were all infected with the same strain. Like, they were all linked. So, like, it wasn't just about the quarantine process. It was like they were on the same plane and then they got infected on the plane, I think.
Oh, okay.
It was like
it was
like something about like also like people on the same level in hotels, like all being infected by each other. Like genomic sequencing came out and there were like links between them. So that was pretty scary because like if that leaked into the public, that would have been bad.
I think it's also cool to bring up the fact that our technology has advanced so much that we're able to trace back.
Yeah, I think
like someone developed this.
It's cool, but it's also like I think technology has also enabled the spread. In a sense, like if you look back in the day, the Spanish flu, wasn't it like mostly transmitted by soldiers coming back from war? So like international travel wasn't really a thing back then. Like it's like there's a lot of things in our society that have enabled us to like transmit these diseases like further in the world because we do have like all of these technologies to take us around the world. It's like a good and bad thing. But like I think it's a trade-off because this is like a 1 in 100 year event. While the like technology has allowed us to do so much more as well.
I guess, yeah. I never thought about it like that. But I wouldn't really say, I don't know. Okay, I don't know. It's true. Like, technology has enabled it, but I think it had to happen like that. Like, there was no way that...
It's inevitable. I couldn't even speak. Inevitable.
Yeah. What do you think here Sydney would look like in 5 years? Do you think things would change dramatically from when pre-COVID to 5 years time?
Definitely, because we have seen all the reports of like the major tech companies and other like big places like allowing work from home. There's companies that are like, oh, you only need to come in once a week or once like every like now and then to like do meetings and stuff like that. But otherwise it's work from home. I find that pretty cool because it's like it is making a lot of jobs more accessible to people in rural areas. And I think it's it is the pandemic itself is like making us develop as people to kind of work with distance more. And like I think that's gonna shape how technology develops in the future with like distance working internationally, things like that. But it's also going to ruin some sectors because I've watched way too many like of those like educational YouTube videos on this stuff, but it's kind of like the benefits is like, oh, there's less business travel and stuff like that, but then that has also impacted airlines because like a lot of airlines do depend on regular business travel to like maintain profits and revenue, because like airlines can't really live off of like the seasonal travel that people do because that's really irregular. It varies a lot, while business travel is like very consistent revenue. So it's like a lot of that kind of stuff will change. Online shopping for one is becoming way bigger, and I think it's like businesses that have been able to adapt with technology will survive. Those that haven't will not survive in the long term.
Yeah. I feel like I've written so many things on that.
And I think the pandemic fast-tracked that.
Oh, yeah.
The pandemic definitely fast-tracked, like, our dependency on technology in business as well.
Something else that I thought about just then was students graduating from uni. The difference in quality, I think. Because I genuinely have not actually tried to memorize a lot of stuff.
At least for me, there's a level of like, I feel like this is more reflective of the workplace, because in computer science, a lot of the time you do have all of this documentation next to you when you're working, but in exams there's like stuff that isn't accessible to you. But I do also feel like there's still some level of you have to be able to gain the knowledge and talk about it without having to like look at your notes every 2 minutes. But I think it's more affected on things like, have you seen the memes? It's like, engineers in the future. Yeah. And like people being like, I'm not gonna let a a doctor from the Zoom
University
to like Zoom University. It's like, it's actually kind of scary, because like there are professions out there that really do need the hands-on experience, and they aren't getting as much of that.
It's true,
and those are the people in the future that will like be doctors, be engineers, the ones that are crucial.
Yeah, because the first kind of people that they cut off would be the internship people, right? And if how do students get experience if they're not able to access these internships? Weird. And all they want is just people with experience.
There's a huge decline in the number of internships being offered nowadays, and it's always just offered to penultimate students. And like, you know the memes about like, no experience required, and it's like 3 to 5 years experience in blah blah blah, and like stuff like that. It's actually, I find that so weird, because it's like, you want an intern with experience.
You know what I think it is, though? When they say, internship with experience, I don't even think that they want to pay that person. They literally just want the best out of everything. They want to not be able to pay them, and then they want someone who actually does the job. And that's literally the best example of exploiting your employee.
Interns. It's like, I just don't know how I feel about all of this. I think the pandemic has disproportionately benefited certain people, definitely. The rich? Because like, it's like, all of these people that are normally making a lot of money have just made more money, especially like on YouTube and content creators. Like, they have been able to make more money because people are having more time to sit down and like watch these videos, especially with like creators that have like an entire catalog of older content, which is slightly ironic because we are also on YouTube, but we're not making money from this. Let's just like, we're not making money with our 33 subscribers. We're doing this for fun.
No, we aren't. But if anyone wants to sponsor us,
thank you.
It's 2.friendlessfriends.
2friendlessfriends@gmail.com. Thank you. But it's just strange to me, because like there is a level of, these people are giving back. I do see creators like giving back, helping out other businesses, helping out smaller businesses that have like moved online and like found ways to like promote these businesses. Like, this isn't everyone on the platform though.
Oh no, definitely not. Do you know who Nikita Dragon is? Do you know how much she gets called out for going to parties constantly and just never wearing masks?
All the TikTokers too. Did you see? Like, it's like they were like all throwing parties and stuff, and they're like, we all got rapid tested, but like, rapid testing isn't accurate. Like, it's a good first step to check, like, if you do have symptoms, to check, like, have a little check. But I don't think it's, like, used for you to, like, rapid test and then I'm gonna go do a collab. No, it doesn't work like that. It exists for people that need it regularly, like, essential workers.
Yeah, and I guess this goes back to the point about who gets benefited, which is like the rich definitely are way more privileged. They're able to access these rapid testing just so that they can go to parties. And I think this was a thing, I think Kylie Jenner did this, or one of the Kardashians.
Didn't the Kardashians have like some private party on some island or something?
Yeah, they did.
I saw that. And I know that some of the TikTokers were also throwing parties and like stuff in mansions and stuff like that. And it's just like, well, first of all, you're literally 16. Second of all, grow up. Like,
you're not wrong though.
They're literally our age or younger usually. And I'm like, I'm out here like sitting at home doing my lectures and you're partying in the middle of a pandemic?
Oh, okay. So about the party thing, because I also did mention that I was going to a party on Saturday. Now, the thing, I think there is a difference though. One, because we live in Australia while they live in America, and America is
were doing it at like the peak, like where like there were like 30,000 cases a day minimum, and we were here with like 2 cases a day and we're locking down.
Yeah, and we've been doing quite well up until this point anyway, but we've been on like quite a strike from cases.
We have, and like Australia as a whole has been doing really well. The scary thing about this case is they still haven't found a link, because I read the article and it was like, he is linked to a case that's in quarantine, but like genomic sequencing has found that, but they haven't found the middle person or middle people. They don't know, because that person hasn't come into contact, doesn't have direct contact with any workers, like essential workers that would have come into contact with the hotel quarantine case. So there's a lot of like middle people that we're not finding.
I feel like this is going to be the big third wave.
I do have a
feeling. Even though the second wave wasn't... Where was that located?
That was Melbourne. Melbourne had that huge spike.
No. Didn't we have one? But I swear it wasn't like that big.
It was the Barella thing. That was our big...
Oh, was it that?
Oh, no, it was the Northern Beaches.
Oh, Northern Beaches.
And then it's like Barella also happened like in the middle of that too. Because I think it was spread from there.
Yeah, but this one's going to be bad because he was also a very active traveler around.
Like,
so
I'm not like saying anything about the person, because they did come forward when like the moment, but it's really scary because like there's no direct link found yet, because there's like, then that means there's like a lot of asymptomatic people hanging around and just doing their thing without knowing that they're carrying the disease.
Yeah, I guess before we end the episode, we should just say that just stay safe, I guess. Like, actually follow the restrictions.
Stay home if you don't need to go out until this gets cleared up, because, like, with the asymptomatic carriers, you never know. Go to work if you have to, go to school if you have to. Otherwise, stay home, stop partying, because you don't have to party.
I think it's good to say that even though I think that we do have it better than a lot of people, it doesn't take away the fact that you could still be feeling really bad about this, and you could be feeling really lonely, and that's fine too. But I think just as recognize that, well, at least for me, I recognize that I am a lot more privileged than a lot of other people just because where I am right now, but that still means that doesn't mean that how I feel right now isn't valid. And that goes out for everyone else.
Yeah, but it also is like, just because you like, I don't want to say just because that's like downplaying it, but it's like you feeling bad, it's not gonna last forever. Like, this is gonna end. I don't know when, but it will. And just like until that point, look out for others. But at the same time, don't go out partying. Thank you. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Yeah, just be really careful.
Anyway, so thank you everyone for listening to this week's episode. We did half on are humans inherently good or evil, and then our second half was on COVID. And then next week will be our very last Get to Know Us series, and we're doing what is it?
Enneagram.
Okay, don't know what that is, but we'll find out together next week. So
stay safe in the meantime. Wear your mask.
Follow us on Instagram, two.friendlessfriends.
Wash your hands. Use that hand sanitizer that you probably stocked up on at the beginning of the pandemic and never used. Yeah. Follow us on our socials. Send in any questions. I think we're planning on doing another Q&A soon.
Oh yeah, I'm excited for that.
Send in any questions that you have for us that we haven't covered, and we'll answer them.
Okay, we'll see you next week. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.